Okay, hello. All right, I've been getting a lot of questions about how people can help other homeless people or poor people where they're at. And I just had a hard time keeping up with the emails, so I figure I'll make a little video and just share some of the things that I have done. And, you know, it's like when I post on Facebook, people are like, oh, well, I'm in Pennsylvania, and if you were here, I would give you a blanket or a hot meal. And it's like, cool, great, but there's people there that you could be helping. Like, don't worry about me, or, you know what I mean? There's always somebody lesser fortunate or that would love to have a hot meal, a blanket, a shower, clothes, even in some cases, appliances or whatever you're trying to get rid of. So anyways, I got a really sweet email from somebody in Vegas wondering how she could help people where she lives. And most of the people know that, you know, I'm not going to go into it, but Goodwill, just look at what's really going on. And there are different segments of homeless people. Not everybody has shelter. Not everybody even wants the shelter. They've been in the system or the tent cities, and it's just not for them. So, you know, a lot of us kind of hide elsewhere. And so even if there were charities on the streets, which there aren't, and Goodwill is not, I mean, I have to pay the same $15 for a blanket as you do. So anyways, so the charities, basically, they're lining people's pockets. I'm not saying there aren't smaller local organizations. In fact, I know for a fact there are. In every city, there's good people everywhere, and some of them show up in parks. No matter where you are, go downtown or take the freeway. Just take an exit, whichever feels right. There's gonna be somebody there. And if you have stuff, and say you're cleaning your house like this woman was, and, you know, had like a van load or truckload to get rid of, if you're not familiar with where they hang out, I mean, see, this is a problem. The visible homeless people are kind of, you know, yeah, they're the stereotypical druggy troublemaker, you know, beggar, blah, blah, blah. A lot of times, not all, but a lot of times. So the ones that, you know, are trying to work or do things and stuff, you're not going to see them. They're not going to be holding out a cup or this and that. And not to say, you know, who knows their path and their choices. I'm not going to judge it. But if you want to help go to the people, go to the source, go where they're at, whether it's off a freeway exit, whether it's under a bridge, whether it's downtown, say maybe a block or 2 blocks away. Okay? You know, like we used to go to Mexico where people lived in cardboard boxes. When I wanted to give to people in LA, we went to Skid Row, right on the streets. I do that in Olympia or Seattle or Tacoma or wherever when I pull off the freeway. Anywhere, any town, USA, there's always somebody there, you know, and just look, if you have a whole bunch of stuff, just say, hey, are you hungry? Oh, yeah, okay, so give them some food. If you feel right, you know, homeless people are just like everybody else. Some people are assholes. It has nothing to do with homelessness or homefulness. It's a human thing. So, you know, feel the energy. If, you know, go where you're led. If somebody, you know, like, oh my gosh, I just have to help this person or talk to this person or hear their story or just give them a hug or say hi. I mean, in many cases, you've heard in Georgie's video, that's all she wants. A smile, an acknowledgement, a couple minutes time. You know, there's also places like, and I used to get like in Salt Lake City, there were domestic violence victims or poor women, you know, maybe that moved from other countries and were just trying to go to school and get a job and, you know, couldn't afford the clothes that these types of jobs wanted. So bring them over to your house, you know, dress them up in a nice Ann Taylor suit or whatever, if that's their thing. But for the most part, they're going to know other people. So say there's only 1 or 2 people on the freeway off-ramp that you pull off. Just give them whatever. If the energy feels right, you know, then say, hey, I actually have a whole bunch more. Do you know where else I can go? So there's different degrees of homelessness. You see people sleeping on the street. Some people sleep in tents by rivers. Some people sleep in cars and rest areas or in neighborhoods. Some people actually have really nice tents with even electricity hooked up. And, you know, it's like, yay. So they could even take, because I used to think, all right, if I'm giving to people on the streets, I have to give them things that are small, that they can fit in their backpack or fit in their pocket. And, you know, but you just have to gauge it and see. So ask the people on whoever it is you're talking to, do you live here or do you have a home? You know, maybe they need bedding, or maybe they need a carpet, or even a welcome home chime, or, you know, whatever. And obviously, you know, that's not a necessity, but just the fact that you went out of your way to acknowledge that these people are people too, you could change their lives, and it might even change yours. So I always advocate direct giving. Find the people that need it. Even in my neighborhood in Branson, people weren't homeless. They had homes, but, you know, they could barely scrape by. They couldn't afford the kitchen utensils they needed, or art projects for their children, or, you know, so maybe there's even somebody in your neighborhood, right? Yeah. And, you know, I do want to say, you know what, I'll save that for another video. Yeah, so for helping, go to the people directly. And I know some people want to say, oh, well, there was this comment today, oh, I'll never give any homeless person money. I'm not going to be responsible for them doing a drug and killing themselves. Well, let me tell you something. There is a lot more drugs off the streets than on the streets, in my personal experience, around the entire country, multiple times, and I'll also save that for another video. But yeah, so yes, there are those people that want to get their next high, and there's also not those people. So ask them, what do you need? Where are you at? Or what can I do to help? And, you know, but hot meals are always cool. And depending on where you are, if it's freezing, dude, gloves, socks, boots, hats. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's priceless. Or maybe even like hand warmers, or there's a couple women I know on each coast, actually, Virginia and Washington, and they're putting together like purses with toiletries, feminine products, even chocolate and things like that, which is a really cool idea. And it's already in a package that they can carry. You know, maybe you've seen, I give them cans of tuna. People that need heat, you know, that have the space to do it, so they can make their can fire, give them a can of tuna and, you know, a quart of alcohol, and rubbing alcohol, not the drinking kind, and teach them how to make a fire and keep themselves warm. But yeah, so just feel it out, trust your intuition. Like everyone, I mean, oh my God, let me tell you this. Those of you that know I'm kind of a magical chef. And it's just true. It just is. Everything I cook is magic and delicious. And I actually had an experience where I go and bring all this organic, homegrown, and even bought organic and top of the line, clean, amazing food that like the rich food snobs thoroughly enjoyed. Well, I went to a different group to feed. This was last week. And this group apparently, well, they're the ones I'd probably say get a job. Like the dude was afraid to touch fresh food because it wasn't in a package with a label that stated that it was, oh, what's the word? Kosher. And he said that, and I'm just like, okay, well, what does that mean to you? You know, because I'm really, in my head, I'm thinking bitch slap. But okay, so I'm like, all right, what does that mean to you? Oh, well, you know, it's got to be clean and in a package with a label. Oh, okay, so homemade, fresh, organic food isn't good enough. It has to be from a package, from a corporation with a label. All right, next. So guess who I'm not going to feed anymore? Them, right? You know, and then I'm serving them like the little waitress servant I am, and I'm not complaining. I enjoy that. I love to serve. And so there I was serving them and pouring dishes and blah, 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 like 5-course meal. And the same dude 3 times asked me to stop what I was doing so I could go back to my car for another load and roll him a cigarette. Like, yeah, guess how long he waited. So you can't help everybody. You don't owe anyone anything, but it does feel good to give. And there's always something, you know, I fell for this, oh, don't judge, and you have to give freely to every single person. No, you don't. You know, there are vampires. There are people that will use you. There are people that won't respect it, that won't even have any gratitude. Yeah, that group, by the way, not one thank you on top of that. So, you know what? I don't have to go back there. I can go to the other groups that are beautiful and lovely and love it when I give them bacon wrapped filet and shrimp, or, you know, lentils or whatever, or even just sandwiches from Walmart or fried chicken, you know, whatever. But if you do those things, then, you know, make sure there's napkins and utensils where people too. But yeah, so there's some ideas on how you can help people locally, whether they're homeless or not. There's always somebody in need, and I guarantee they're right outside your door. Let me tell you, pre-homelessness and now even homeless, I still have the same philosophy. When I get up and have my morning routine, we'll call it, where I have to stretch for a couple hours so I could walk and blah, 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 I always ask to be put in places where I can be of most assistance or serve someone or help someone. And so I trust my gut. I'm not a city person, but if the whisper in my ear says go to Seattle and go to this place, then I go. I listen. And sometimes it's for different reasons, for me to help someone else or even for people to help me. You know, so listen to your gut. If it feels right, it is right. Okay? And there are people too, they have a story, talk to them. Hear their story.